to, and what a joy. We've got No Doubt here with me right now.
It's good to see you.
It's lovely to see you.
And your voice is always so comforting. It's like that familiar, like, Joe.
Oh, that's very nice of you to say that. We were just chatting about being here in London and a place that you're really familiar with and kind of like a second home.
Yeah, I was saying without Gavin being here, it always feels kind of strange. Like, what? You know, it's like I just associate the whole thing with being here with him. But it's kind of fun to come and feel this familiar, like, okay, a second home, you know. It's really become that for me. And I love it here. I mean, I love the parks. I didn't even get to go to a park yet so far.
Is it weird that you don't even go, you're not even going to visit your house?
I'm not even going to my house. There isn't even 1 minute for me to go. We're staying at a hotel because you had the whole team there. And the hotel's haunted. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Well, Zuma was sleeping and he saw shadows and stuff and he woke up in the night and he was all scared. So my nanny's like, I think this hotel's haunted. I was like, oh, come on. So they look it up online and it says it's the most haunted hotel in London.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Danilo, my hairdresser, woke up and said that there was like, it's really weird, but I woke up and there was like red stain on my pillow, okay? And I wasn't wearing anything red. I was like, you are so crazy
God.
right now. And he brought the pillow in to show me this morning. So,
Are you staying there again tonight?
yeah.
Are you going to be sleeping okay? I wouldn't go back to that hotel. Does that not freak you out?
It doesn't, because ghosts can't hurt you, right?
No. They'll just hang out.
Yeah. I'm just hanging with them.
They want to hear the new record.
Yeah.
Tony, you're in the same hotel, right?
Yes.
And you slept fine last night.
I was fine, yeah, I'm fine. I welcome all ghosts come into my room. Let's hang out.
Let's do it.
Dance party.
I so want to speak to you tomorrow and see if they come round if you party tonight. So I think last time I spoke to you together, because it was the two of you I spoke to, and there was never any question that you wouldn't one day be making another No Doubt album.
Yeah.
And it's just great that you're here now and you've made that record.
I can't believe we did it.
It's very surreal
I'm
to be
proud of
sitting
you,
here.
Tony.
I'm proud of you, Gwen. I mean, this record was a challenge to make. It took 3 years, and the biggest challenge was scheduling, you know, and especially for Gwen, being a mom and a committed mom of 2 boys, and trying to find that time to come in the studio, and she really was passionate about making a great record, and so watching that struggle happen, I think it actually fed into the lyrics for this record. You know, it really provided that kind of push and shove, for lack of a better word. The whole struggle kind of came out in this album, and that's what it was.
But were the rest of the band patient, or did it cause friction because you were desperate to get hold of Gwen at times when you couldn't?
That's the thing. I was so burnt out. Like, so much had happened, you know. If you look back at the actual timeline of, like, getting pregnant right before I was going to go on tour, and that was with Kingston, touring pregnant until I was 4.5 months, having the baby, going back on tour when he was 8 months, nursing him for 14 months, doing 105 shows, and then getting pregnant the month I got home. And then I got Zuma, and then that was right when we were going to start the record, right when I got pregnant with Zuma, and I couldn't write during that pregnancy. I was so, you know, you have to somehow download life, you know, before you start to write, you know what I mean? It's like I had done so much, including having the babies, and that's so physical, and so
God, mentally it's exhausting. So Tony, you aside at this particular point, it is hard.
Being a new mom, I mean, it's like having a toddler and an infant, and going back on tour. We ended up going back on tour to get inspired, which is crazy, because physically touring is insane, you know. But for me, I just felt so out of touch after having the second baby to write a modern album. It just didn't feel. I wasn't in that mode. I was in mommy, like, nursing mode, you know. It's just a whole different world. And so we went on tour, and we got really inspired just to be out there singing the songs that were giving us this whole life, and seeing the people actually sing the words back to you. It just gave me this confidence, and it calmed me down, and that's when we started writing. But these guys were so patient. I mean, that I needed that so bad. I couldn't have gone in and done, like, any kind of pressurized thing where, you know, I just couldn't have done it. Like, they were like, no, I was the one that was like, I can't do this. And Tony would be like, you're doing it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, just tonight, just go home. And if you can come in tomorrow, you come in tomorrow. If you can't, like, everything was like that. And
friends.
Yeah, it was friends. And it ended up being like, well, you know, actually, it doesn't matter when it comes out, because the process is what matters, like the living in the moment and making the album. And then when we're done with the record, we'll talk about it, and then we'll tour it. And it's the same thing we always do. And each one of those things has amazing parts to it. So why rush, you know? So
I do remember when I interviewed you with your solo stuff, when you came in, I think you had Kingston with you, and he must have been, I don't know if he was a year or 18 months.
Yeah.
And I felt kind of protective and a bit worried about you, because you look really fragile and exhausted, and just sort of looking at you thinking, God, I don't know how you're doing this.
It's been a really, like, well, it's been 6 years now I've had those kids, and it's so hard. There's no way to balance it. It's not possible to be a working mom, like, and do it all. Like, it really isn't. And each day is a challenge, you know. And like right now, I have Kingston in LA with his dad going to school, starting first grade, and it's like
you want to be there.
Yeah, I want to be there, but I want to be here with my band, like making the record, and I have Zuma with me here, and it actually ends up working out because he gets special time with me, and it all works out, but it is really mentally challenging.
Right, let's play a bit of music. We'll talk lots more after this. Let's choose a band who have been a great inspiration for No Doubt.
Well, Madness was probably the whole reason why we started our band in the first place, I think. My brother, I don't know how my brother found it, because in Orange County at the time, it wasn't popular. Like, I think the only big song that they played was Our House. So it wasn't like a household name at all. It was very underground, and it was very like this like little niche of like ska music that we had discovered. And in our school, it was like there was a group, like maybe 5-7 people that were into it, you know, and they had the scooters, and so
the Parkers.
Yeah, it was like this whole thing. And then when we started our band, we discovered the scene, and we would show up and do these amazing shows, and it would be like hundreds of people that were into what we were into, and it was like a whole scene that we were born, you know, the band was kind of born into. So Madness was a huge part of that. I was gonna say Sun in the Rain. I know that's a little more deep, like when they get more commercial, but I love that song.
Of Sun and Rain Madness, who are going to be doing in concert in just a few days' time now, so there'll be a lot of partying at the Radio Theatre. Have you met them? Have you kind of got to meet? Okay.
Yeah, we actually played with them in Hawaii. When was that, Tony?
That was in 1997. They came to Hawaii with us.
Yeah.
You gave a really nice smile then when I said, have you met them, Tony?
Oh, man. We've met them quite a few times, and they're so much fun to hang out with.
When I first met them, Tony, my dad, like, they were coming to LA, and we lived in Orange County, so it's totally two different worlds. But you drive up to LA, like, it's like suburbs going into LA, and they were playing this weird thing with the local radio station where they were playing a baseball game. Weird,
okay.
Right? And I know it sounds really weird, and you could go there and, like, you know, see them play against K-Rock, which was the big station in LA that played all the music. So we went. My parents took us up there. I was in like
so cool.
I was probably like 7th grade, which is like 12, 13.
Uh-huh.
We got to meet them, and Suggs had Scarlett, his little daughter, and she had just been, you know, born, and
wow.
it was like, wow, we got to meet them and get their autograph.
And then you're in Hawaii and you're playing with them.
Yeah, weird.
Very strange. So getting back in the studio when you were finally working together, did it come easy, or were there kind of niggles and stuff that needed ironing out?
We got back in the studio in 2008 and we started writing, and it just wasn't happening. You know, as Gwen said earlier, we were having writer's block, so we decided to go on the road in 2009 and get inspired again. And I think being on stage together helped bring us back to what this band's all about, which is playing live. It's always been easier for us to play live than actually get in the studio. Studio's always been challenging. But after we got home from that tour, we felt so great, and we were so inspired. And the first song came in November of 2009, a song called Undercover, and they just started flowing after that. And we did our 11 songs over those 2 years.